Hey everybody, welcome to the E3 2017 pre-show on GGRC. You know, this year is a pretty exciting year for E3. I felt like last year, you know, I rewatched some of the videos that I did, and I wasn't as excited at the beginning of E3 just because it felt like everything was leaking. But this year, we have a few leaks here and there, but there's still a lot of pieces to be filled in. What makes it even more exciting is that this is the first year that I believe they've opened up regular tickets for everybody. So if you wanted to, you could have booked a ticket and a hotel and paid a pretty penny in LA to go to E3, and hopefully I'll get to go someday. It's actually on my bucket list. But if you get to go, this is a very exciting year to go, because there's so many gaps and areas within the list of all these conferences and companies showing things off that, you know, when I look at the conferences, I'm kind of like, what are they going to show? What on earth what's going to happen here? And that to me is exciting because you're not sure what's going to happen. There haven't been as many leaks as last year, so I'm pretty pumped for this year. You know, it's always hard to believe that E3 is just right around the corner, but here we are, here it is. And I'm going to be doing the same thing I do every year, and that is I'm going to be putting up trailers with some of my thoughts. You know, if there's a game that I find really cool, a game that just looks interesting, I'm going to talk over and put a trailer up for you guys all to enjoy and just get an idea into what I'm looking forward to. And of course, I fully expect all of you to participate, comment, let me know what games you're looking forward to, and let me know what you think of the games that I picked too. Without further ado, let's jump into what we're going to see this year. The E3 conferences seem to be starting pretty early this year. The first conference is EA on Saturday, and I could be wrong, they might have done Saturday conferences before, but I always thought everything started on Sunday. But maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but Saturday seems pretty early. So we start Saturday off with EA, and they're going to be showing off 8 different games, 6 of which we already know about. The majority of them are sports games, and then Battlefield 1. But one brand new game that I'm excited to see is the new Need for Speed Payback game. The Need for Speed team took a year off to work on this. I'm hoping a lot of that went into the game to make it extra polished and extra fun and everything else, because I'm a big fan of racing games, and if the new Need for Speed looks good, and there's been a few in the past that I've really enjoyed, I really hope that this is back up to par. Now, there are 2 titles that supposedly haven't been announced or even mentioned yet. I'm really hoping that it isn't just like FIFA DLC for some football clubs that I don't know about or don't care about, because I don't really care about sports all that much, especially soccer. Sorry, soccer fans out there. But what I'm thinking they are going to show, one of those unannounced titles, is maybe a new Dragon Age. Now, Mass Effect is a bit, muddled now at this point with the most recent release of Andromeda. It was kind of a messy launch if you hadn't heard. If you haven't heard, maybe you're under a rock or something. I'm not sure. But a new Dragon Age seems plausible at this point. I think BioWare has a couple different development studios, and that's got to be what they're working on at the moment. And here we go, Sunday, the normal day for game conferences at E3. And we're going to be starting things off with Microsoft here. Now, it's been announced that their presentation is actually going to be a bit longer this year than normal, and that's because they want to make room for games, supposedly is the reasoning there, which is cool. But when I look at their list of games, I'm kind of like, what are they going to show? Is it just going to be a lot of third-party stuff, which is fine. I mean, third-party is good. Because I'm looking at their first-party list, I see Crackdown 3, I see Sea of Thieves, and we all know that Scalebound was canceled earlier this year, so, I don't really know. They're going to be showing off, obviously, a lot more of the new console coming out, supposedly at the end of this year, the Scorpio, but what is it going to be called? That's what everybody's wondering. I guess the rumor going around was that Xbox, or rather Microsoft, did patent an S logo for Scorpio, but maybe it's not for Scorpio, maybe this is going to be the new Super Xbox One, right? I mean, it is an S, maybe. Now, next on the list for Sunday is Bethesda, and this one really has me kind of reeling as to what they're going to show here, because all of their big games, like all the big series, have already had big games come out within the past couple of years. Like, there's not going to be a new Fallout, there's not going to be a new Elder Scrolls game, right? I mean, it's too soon, and they even said that we're going to be waiting until probably 2020 to get a new Elder Scrolls, so there's no way they're going to be showing that off. And looking at a confirmed list for them, they're only showing Quake Champions and Elder Scrolls Legends, which I believe is supposed to be their playing card game that's available on Steam, and I don't know if it's on consoles or not, but I did see it on Steam recently. So what else could they be showing? Like, why would they have a big conference just to show off Quake Champions and a card game? Well, predictions from me range from anywhere. I would really like to see Doom single-player DLC. Now, the Doom single-player game in 2016, it was the biggest surprise for most people because they did not talk about it whatsoever, and I have no idea why. They really pushed and pushed and pushed the multiplayer, which was the thing that people did not really care for in the game. But the single-player was praised to no end. So maybe at this point they retooled it a little bit and they're like, okay, we have some DLC ready for Doom here, and that's what they're going to talk about. The other thing that I think is a big shoe-in, and the only game that hasn't had a big release since it came out a few years ago, is Wolfenstein: The New Order. I think that there's going to be a sequel to that. We know that The Old Blood came out a year later, but that was sort of an expansion, like a small, bite-sized piece of Wolfenstein. And because both of those are selling really well, I think that they're going to have the team make another full-fledged game. Probably won't be out this year, but it might be out next year, but they'll have something to show off that they're working on the game at least. Now, we do have a new company doing a conference on Sunday, which is really exciting. It's Devolver Digital. They're doing the first conference for E3, which is really them, I guess, basically saying like, hey, we're big dogs now. We can get in on this. And I think it's cool because Devolver always has really interesting games to show off, whether they're showing off trailers or on their website releasing a bunch of new games that they're publishing, whatever the case may be. They always seem to have interesting games to show off, and I'm really interested to see what this conference is going to be all about and see what games they've acquired at this point to release because, like I said, really interesting stuff. Now, as we move into Monday, we have the PC Gaming Show. Now, the PC Gaming Show has always been sort of a hem and haw type of thing. There's always been some big announcements and then sometimes nothing at all. But this year, people are really excited for it because people want to see more on Lawbreakers, the new game that's coming out from Cliff Bleszinski and his company there. So a lot of people think that there's going to be some stuff on that, but one of the other big things is that Firaxis, the team behind XCOM and XCOM 2, the more recent installments of it, they say that they're going to have a new game to show off at E3. And if I remember correctly, I think that XCOM 2 was mostly shown off, or at least announced on this PC Gaming Show a few years back. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But regardless, I think at least one of my predictions is that they're going to show off their new game on the PC Gaming Show. Because that company they seemingly have been PC first. So, I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong on this, just a prediction, but we'll see. Regardless if it's on the show or not, I'm looking forward to see what Firaxis is going to be announcing this year. Now, continuing on through Monday, we have the Sony conference. Now, this is another big wild card here because it's another conference that I have to say, what are they going to show off? Because Shenmue 3 has been delayed to 2018. It's not coming out until the end of 2018. So they might show like a developer diary on it or something like that, but they're not going to be showing anything meaningful with it until next year. Horizon Zero Dawn has already come out, and The Last Guardian has already come out, so they don't really have anything to fall back onto, What I think they are going to be showing a lot of is probably Days Gone. Now, Days Gone, if you haven't seen it already, looks like a cool like biker versus swarms of zombies type of game. I don't really know what it's all about, don't know what the story actually is, but from what they showed off last year, it actually looks like a promising and cool little game. Well, I shouldn't say little, it looks like it's going to actually be a pretty big game. But another game that Sony will probably show a little bit off of is Detroit Become Human. Now, this is a game that they've been showing off a little bit of every year, but we don't really know much about it. We know a little bit of the story and everything, but you know how these games go. The games like Indigo Prophecy and Beyond Two Souls and whatnot, Heavy Rain, these games all play very uniquely, so that's what I'm more interested to see is how this game plays and how your decisions play, into the story and everything, because that's what these games are all about. So, but besides those two games, I'm really puzzled as to what they're gonna see, what they're gonna show off. But I am also very excited to see what they're gonna show off because I hope that leaves a lot of room for some new stuff. And this is a big duh on my part, but I almost forgot. They're also going to be showing off God of War, right? The new God of War remake that features Kratos with his kid fighting ogres and whatnot. Seems like he's taking his kid out on a really dangerous adventure, but it might be a really fun game too, so I think they're going to be announcing a release date for that, probably the end of this year. Now, Tuesday, we have the very last conference of the show, at least the last big conference of the show, and that is Nintendo. Now, right off the bat, unconfirmed, or at least things that we haven't seen much of, unconfirmed is the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle game that has been leaking all over the place. E3 is going to be the place that they finally, either put a stop to these rumors or show it off to show what the game actually is. I have no idea what it's going to be. I don't know that it's going to come out this year. I would assume it is if they're going to be showing it off. But the other things that they're going to be showing off are Mario Odyssey. You know, everybody is looking forward to that game. They've seen a little bit of it, you know, over the past couple months when the Switch was first, I think it was talked about in January, right? Where they showed the Mario Odyssey when they first announced the Switch and what it was and everything. But yeah, they're going to be showing off probably Xenoblade, I think, you know, because we haven't seen much of that, and that is supposedly coming out this year. So, I mean, those at the moment are the top three that I can think of things that they haven't shown a lot of that are sort of slightly, like, two of them are confirmed, one of them not so much, but everybody is pretty much thinks it's a shoo-in. So the other interesting thing is that Nintendo has confirmed that they're only doing a half-hour show this year. Now, as you all know, they don't really do a conference, they just do the Nintendo live stream, which is just a direct. They put up a link that they say is live, but it's just a pre-recorded video that they're just like, here, watch it, it goes up at this point. And it's a half hour of stuff, and I'm really hoping that Nintendo is not choosing to use up part of this half hour to show off their new theme park that's being opened. I think it's called the Super Nintendo Park or something like that. As exciting as that may be for them and as fun as it might look to go to, I don't really want the E3 Direct. I don't want any time eaten up by this theme park. Like, save that for something else. Save this for the games. And that's what I'm afraid of. Like, the Switch has a lot of stuff coming up, and Nintendo has said before that they only like to show stuff that is, you know, sort of on the way within the next, 6 to 8 months. Stuff that's going to come out before next E3. So what is going to come out? Well, a lot of it we already know about. They're going to be showing off ARMS, which is actually coming out the week of E3, so, big deal there. They're probably going to be showing off Splatoon 2, which comes out next month, which, everyone who's played the first Splatoon probably isn't super excited for Part 2, but, I mean, I'm excited for it because I love the first game, can't wait to play the second one. But how much of that is going to be new content? That's the question, right? So ARMS, Splatoon 2, they're probably going to be showing off Hey Pikmin, which is a new 3DS title that's coming out this summer as well. But what else? What else? Everybody. It's hard because everybody puts a lot of stake on Nintendo every E3. Every E3, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo always get the most flack for what they announce and what they don't announce. So when you go into this, you're already thinking, like, there has to be something big that they're going to announce, right? But within a half hour, they only have so much time, and you got to figure, like, one I haven't mentioned is the new Fire Emblem game that's like Hyrule Warriors. It's what was it called? Fire Emblem Warriors or something like that, where it's Dynasty Warriors with Fire Emblem. So that's supposedly coming out this year too. So they're going to have time for that. But it's like, with all the games that we already know are coming out at the end of the year, or supposedly coming out at the end of the year, I don't know how much time that leaves for new stuff. So Nintendo might be the only conference that I feel like is already kind of taken up by previous announcements. So I will be really surprised if they put something like really new and shocking into this Direct. Well, there you go, everybody. That is the E3 2017 pre-show on GGRC. And thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. You got a few predictions. You got some information. And please, make sure to keep watching all the videos I'm going to be releasing this week, because I think we're going to have a lot of fun discussing some of this stuff. So, until the next video, I'll see you next time. Be sure to stay tuned to my channel for more E3 2017 coverage. Click the playlist on screen to see more right now.